Watching Choice 2017 here on KTN News, we are talking about Wiper Party politics. And a few weeks ago, a number of elected leaders from the Wiper Party as well as from other opposition parties did defect or announce that they will be vying for their seats in 2017 on a Jubilee ticket, a matter that has continued to elicit a lot of heated reactions. The ODM party did move with disciplinary action on those elected leaders to kick them out. That case is still pending. There have been appeals from those members. But what is Wiper going to do about this? The Secretary General, Hassan Omar, did say that they will force them out of the party and into mini polls ahead of the 2017 general election.
Sisi tuko tayari kwa uchaguzi Februari. Wale watu wote walioasi code, wakiwemo ODM, wakiwemo Wiper, wakiweko Ford Kenya, kama nyinyi ni wanaume na wanawake, mumezaliwa kutoka familia za heshima, sisi tunawataka katika uchaguzi February next year. Tutatumbia njia za kisheria na njia za kikatiba kuhakikisha February kodi imeandaa misuli yake. Kila mmoja aliyojitangaza siku ile pale Kasarani, sisi tuko tayari kukuregesha nyumbani 5 months before time.
Hassan Omar, the Mombasa senator who wants to become the next governor of Mombasa. He wants to unseat Ali Hassan Joho, who is a governor on an ODM ticket. Another similar scenario is that of the county of Taita Taveta, where the governor John Ruto of ODM wants to, of course, will be defending his seat, and the senator Dan Mwazo, also of ODM, will be wanting to unseat him. And they were also part of this Wiper rally and a series of rallies. And of course, Dan Mwazo, senator, did speak about this situation.
Kuna porojo zinapelekwa, Dani Mwazo amehama. Nikihama mimi ni mwanaume kamili, nitasema sijahama, niko na tutatandikana ndani kwa ndani. Ya tatu ni kwamba tarehe 3 mwezi wa Disemba 2012 nilikuweko katika yale mazungumzo na mapatano watu wa kodi walifanya tarehe 3 Disemba 2012.
Tutatandikana uko ndani. That is what Dan Mwazo says, of course, about that nomination battle with ODM. He is also the governor of Taita Taveta, John Ruto, speaking about the same as well, speaking about unity of the CORD coalition.
Tukitaka kutoa Jubilee, tukitaka kutoa Uhuru na Ruto State House, lazima vile vyama ambavyo viko katika muungano wa CORD lazima vizidi kufanya kazi pamoja. Lazima muungano huo tuzidi kuhakikisha kwamba umezidi kuwa na nguvu. Na mimi hapa utaambiwa kwamba mimi chama changu ni ODM, lakini uliponiambia unakuja nikasema lazima nije. Maana yake nguvu yetu ni umoja wetu ndio nguvu yetu.
We are talking about Wiper Party politics. We did ask on our Twitter poll, was the Wiper leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, justified to rebuke the Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama in public? Abdi Ngurusi says, yes, as a party leader, Kalonzo is mandated by party constitution to instill sanity and discipline within its ranks. Nicholas Kulavi says, ideological differences are inevitable and expected in political parties like any other organization. One here from Being Charlie says, Kalonzo did the right thing. There comes a time when Muthama must be set straight on the podium. Sagashina says, as head of the party, you have to rattle him, but not in public. One here from Mashiri Karani says, I support Kalonzo once he has done what his supporters would have wanted him to do, to tell Muthama a long time ago. I want us to wind up that conversation, talk about other things. Brian, there has been talk that Muthama forced Kalonzo Musyoka into CORD. How justified is this? And is this now playing out?
Okay, yeah.
Forced in courts.
Forced in court. Let me first set something straight here for Mheshimiwa Madhuki to understand that I'm not a newcomer in Wiper politics. I vied for parliament on our Wiper ticket, lost through the nominations. And again, I went through the interview process as the executive director successively, but the decision were overturned in a different setup. But I'm not a newcomer in Wiper politics, so when I speak about it, of course, you have to understand. Also, I understand.
So you're clarifying your credentials.
Exactly. Now, Ben, when you talk about Muthama having forced Kalonzo to court, I think Kalonzo by then did not have much choice to pick from, and therefore the circumstances that were prevailing by then were really ripe for Kalonzo to make such decision. Muthama was only a catalyst because of his vocal nature in terms of politics and championing for his agenda. And it's only that he was able to win the hearts of the decision makers when it came to now merging Wiper and ODM. And therefore, this kind of forcing, to me, it was circumstantial. And you had no much choice to pick from. And he would have gone again as a lone ranger. And he would have actually suffered bad fate, politically speaking, compared to what he went to through.
So it was still the right decision?
It was still the right decision, owing to the prevailing circumstances of then.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, Ben, we must appreciate some of these decisions are not informed by one person or two. But as I already put, that Wiper is a system, is a very strong political party, national party for that matter. And therefore, when we make some of those decisions that are very important, we do consultations. We consult with members, we consult with the citizens all over. And therefore, to say that it's Muthama who forced Kalonzo into this, I think that is again very wrong. This is not, this is unnecessary. In fact, I don't know why Muthama has become a victim of all these things, when actually we know him as a very strong Wiper. And therefore, decisions to join Code Coalition were informed by so many other factors, and those are some of the things in terms of how to go and what we stand for as a party, for true democracy, and therefore to say that it was we were forced into it by one or two people, it is not right. I remember we were in it. Actually, I was a sitting member, and therefore we were part of it, all of us. And we say now the only way is therefore for us to go the direction of Code Coalition.
Final question on this. We need to get everything out of the way.
Yeah,
is one of our viewers who asked this question, is called Charles, saying there are rumors that the Machakos governor, Alfred Mutua, wants to come back to Wiper, but he cannot because of the senator. Is there any truth to this?
Let me tell you something. Many people again have taken advantage of this senator, saying, giving all manner of excuses. If, and I appreciate, Dan Mwanzo, you've heard what he said. He said, we are going to Takanyangani, Dan, meaning it's a democracy. We are going to fight from within the party. And that should be the spirit. So in fact, if Governor Machakos Mutua was genuine enough, he should have stood the party and fight from within. It is not about one person. All of us were there. And therefore, I think it was just an excuse for the sitting governor, for whatever reasons, that he decided to quit. And I can tell you, and he must remember this, Machakos County is a Wiper county, is a Wiper government, and it still remain a Wiper government.
All right.
County government, yes.
Brian, what do you say about this?
On a date like this, which is 14th November, you can mark my word that Mutua has no business coming back to Wiper. If is anything to go by, Mutua is more inclined to the Jubilee wing. And mark my word that after or before, Mutua is going to make a decision which will tilt the scales in terms of bringing some numbers to the Jubilee affiliation or political party.
Will he manage to bring any numbers from Ukambani to Jubilee?
Well, he will win whichever number, however small it is, but he'll still have said something, politically speaking, that is now placing himself or positioning himself to the alternative kingmaker in Ukambani politics of exit Kalonzo. But that's with time. But he is starting in a small way, but at the end of the day, he might, and I'm only saying he might, make it big to that scene.
All right. Yeah. We'll see how that plays out in the coming days. Yeah, the issue of defections, defectors, those elected members, elected leaders who defected to Jubilee, you announced they will be vying in 2017 on Jubilee, that is virtually defecting. What is Wiper going to do about it? Your counterparts in court, ODM have already started process of kicking them out.
You know, we have already taken action. You know, there is a disciplinary mechanism within the party. We have a committee, a disciplinary committee that is in place. And what, in our last NEC meeting that took place a week ago or so, it was very clear that we agreed they should be all summoned in that disciplinary committee and explain. And therefore, there's a process that has started because they have publicly declared that they are not interested in being in the party. And therefore, we are saying if they are not interested in the party, because they came in with a wiper ticket, therefore it is only fair and morally right for them to leave or possibly leave the party and therefore seek a fresh mandate from the Wananchi using the parties that they wish to use. I think that is where it is. So what we have done is that already we have set a committee that is chaired by Dubi, who is actually Councillor Dubi, and he's the one who is chairing that. And we have set the process. And actually one of them is Machakos governor himself, who, of course, by all intentions, of course, everyone knows, and now it is in public, that he has a party that he has come up with. I may not remember the name of the party, but whatever it is, we have agreed we must really proceed because he has shown that he has no interest in whatever. And many others who have actually said now they are not interested. And therefore now, we leave them to Wananchi now to make that decision. And that's what we are saying. Before the elections. Yeah, before the elections, we have, because you see, the law is very clear in terms of how we should proceed.
That's true.
And therefore, we shall proceed and ensure that that is respected.
That is true, according to the law. Yes. That is true. But, Brian, is it necessary to force by-elections?
Yeah, first of all, we have to ask ourselves whether the country is ready or the environment is really conducive for a by-election, which will be coming, 6 months before now the major elections come on board. And again, when he talks about disciplinary action against the errant members within the WIPA, I think to me, it calls for political or the so-called political tolerance or democratic tolerance for that matter, because the NEC and the top brass of WIPA fraternity did not even have a one-on-one kind of engagement with all these perceived errant members.
But Brian, what one-on-one do you need? I'm being the devil's advocate here, but those members are not being fair to those people who elect them.
Look here, there was
respecting the law.
Yes, there was a lot of simmering in WIPA before these guys voted out or inclined towards Jubilee Party. There must have been some issues that perhaps did not augur well with their expectations, and therefore they felt the best decision was to go where they would be listened to.
So
and
if you leave, then you go for a by-election.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would say. But if they had at least a one-on-one, perhaps the problem that's affecting these people, the problem they're having, would have perhaps come on the table, and perhaps it would have been nipped at the bud at that point before they now made that decision to join the Jubilee. So therefore, it calls for that political tolerance. Democracy calls for that, and therefore maybe in WIPA, I'm not an insider now, maybe it was missing.
And in fact, he says he tried to become executive director of the party. And now I understand why you should not have become, because if that is how you should have advised us, listen to this also.
I'm no longer there, so therefore everything changed. Therefore, I cannot speak the way I would have spoken.
What Brian is saying that it is possible that there was no internal democracy.
That's what I'm saying. We have an organ called NEC.
Yes.
Yeah, NEC is an organ that is very critical, and we are all elected members of parliament, of course members, and we all sit in and agree on the issues. So if you have a particular issue that you feel is not going on well within the party, you speak out and we discuss. And therefore, I am not aware of any issue any of those members raised that they had a problem with the party. And therefore, if there was, and if they were genuine in this particular case...
The issues of Mutambo, Kisoi Munyao, these are people who have been fighting in and out of the party.
That's what I'm saying.
In terms of their issues being not respected or being listened to.
Yeah, for records, I think it's important to tell the public that indeed there is a mechanism of addressing some of those issues within the party. And they should have done it. And therefore, I think what informed their decision is not the issues now they're talking about. They could be talking of other factors. That may not, and therefore when Angel will make a
I want to get your final thoughts. Brian, your final thoughts.
Yes.
What is WIPA's status? What does WIPA need to do to be able to emerge victorious? in 2017.
Yeah.
Or even within the court coalition. Very quickly.
Okay. I do agree with Mheshimiwa Peter that Wiper is still a strong party and it is still controls a huge sort of following across the country. But what has been lacking within Wiper is that kind of political or democratic tolerance that would actually ensure all members are listened to and their views are also understood or are put into consideration. And that's why we have been seeing this kind of, frictions within the party. But all is not lost because come 2017, which is almost 10 months from now, they can still put their house in order. They can still address the, simmerings within the party and perhaps make it even more vibrant to be more attractive in the face of actually courting other political parties in terms of amalgamations or partnerships. And therefore, it's still early, and therefore Wiper has all the kind of time to put its house in order.
Thanks, Brian. Mheshimiwa, you did give a deadline for court to name the flag bearer. Is that still on? What is it for?
One thing I must appreciate, and you remember what I said, is that within the court coalition parties, we are going all over the country trying to sell our investors and convince wananchi to support us and as a Wiper. And in fact, in this particular last one on Friday, we must appreciate the governor of Taita Taveta, Murutu, and the senator. Both leaders came into our, into our meetings, and that shows the tolerance we have within the court coalition. And therefore, what I think is that we will do this. This is a process, and when the right time comes, at a time after consulting and listening to what wananchi and some of the issues. In fact, what we'll be talking about is what are the issues that wananchi are talking about. Wananchi are saying the runaway corruption in this country. Wananchi are talking of things like tribalism that is now getting out of the way. And therefore, we are saying as a court coalition, these are some of the things we are going to address when we take government 2017.
And
therefore, at the right time, it is not actually Jubilee to tell us, they're saying we don't have a candidate. It is not them to tell us when we should have the next candidate. Okay. On the right time, you're going to have the candidate.
Thanks. Peter Mathuki is the Deputy Secretary General of the Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya, Member of Parliament at the East African Legislative Assembly as well. Brian Muti is a governance expert. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You've been watching Choice 2017 here on KTN News. Many thanks for staying with us, talking about Wiper party politics, a key member of the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, all issues simmering within the party, which is very popular within the southeastern part of the country. All issues we shall continue to keep tabs on to see how this pans out. Be sure to join us every Monday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we discuss the big issues, governance, political issues in the run-up to the 2017 general election. I'm Ben Kitili. Thanks for watching. Monday Night News with Yvonne Okwara Matole begins shortly.